should be played at high volume.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the premiere episode of the Littlss Roundtable. I am your host for the morning, Boogie B. This is my friend who has no name at the moment because we're still figuring it out. And I am joined here with, introduce yourselves, gang.
I am Sin. I am part of House of Kinky Misfits, and we jokingly call me the head little of our house because we have 4 littles. Sadist?
I'm Zadist, also a House of Kinky Misfits. I am also a leather boy, and I have been part of the lifestyle going on 3.5 years.
Cool. Next.
Hi, I'm Batusai. My house is the 5 Rings of Shinobi, and I have been in the lifestyle since 2016.
Awesome.
I am Girl Chris, and I'm part of the House of Kinky Misfits. This is Anubis, and been part of the lifestyle about 5 years.
Nice. And I'm also part of the House of Kinky Misses. So these are yeah. We're going to be talking today about, well, what is age play? What is it, and what does it do for us? And hopefully this podcast recording will help you all out there that are watching to discover your little side, if you have one, or if you're discovering that. Hopefully this episode would give you an insight. It will give you a bit of education. It will also give you a bit of confidence to explore this thing, because it is a very fun aspect to explore. And it is a very welcoming, it is a very empowering community of age players out there all over the world. And we hope that this series would, again, just bring insight, positivity, and inclusiveness, and funs, and rainbows, and sunshines, and all of that good stuff that we like to do. So just going off with the question, I've been in the lifestyle for about 7.5 years now overall. Being a age player for the majority of it. It is my core aspect. It is what, is what makes me me. And it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild journey for sure. Because it's one of those niche kinks and niche fetishes that often gets stigmatized. It often gets, you know, scrutinized for the wrong reasons. And not separate, but also being a little, I'm also what is known as ABDL, and that is a subset of the whole age play variety. We're going to break down all these terms and definitions and all of that, but just to give you a brief overview, like, it helps me to be me. It helps me to look at the world from a different lens. It helps me to navigate things from just a clear mindset when, like, adult life just gets too hectic and gets too convoluted. The world becomes my sandbox, and it becomes my playground, and I can explore things and see things in a new perspective, a new light, without any care, without any worries, without any of those adult things that happens, because life doesn't stop lifing. But it gives me a chance to just kind of sit back and, like, okay, I just want to play, I just want to color, I just want to be, you know. My little age is 3, well, 3.1, because I look at it from an aspect of, I can help those who are a littler age than myself, and I can also belittle myself. If you think of Rugrats, I'm pretty much the Susie Carmichaels and the Angelicas. Like we can talk to the babies and we can talk to the adults. So that's where my little side range from. Um, Kicking those same questions off to Sin. How long have you been? Well, you told her how long you've been, but like, how does it help you and how and all of that stuff?
So yeah, I've been in the lifestyle since 2017 or so. I've probably been exploring my little side for about 5 years or so now. Um, and I mean, with it, it helps me be able to center when I'm having one of those overwhelmed times and the time is there. I like to sit down and color and focus my brain on that and just kind of let go of everything else for a period of time, just so that my brain can kind of reintroduce the things at a more obtainable level versus being overwhelmed by everything at once. Um, I like my unicorns. It's my favorite animal. I have like 500 different unicorns, and I don't think that's over exaggerating. Um, and like just for me, the little lifestyle is it's just those fun little innocent moments. Just like when you have a child growing up, those cute little moments. That's what's the best about it. And it's the same when you get to revert back to that little's age time. Um, for me, my little ranges, it depends on who I'm around. It's typically from like 4 to 7. Um, I like playing my video games and my coloring and my books and my unicorns and all of that. Um, and just it's peaceful. There's a calming aspect of it when, it's for a brief period of time, but all the responsibilities are just set to the side. You don't have all that extra weight on you, and you can just recenter, recoup, gain back that energy, and refill your cup. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Um, Kicking it to Batu side.
So I first of all, I forgot to introduce my stuffies. This is Certain Cotton Candy Cane Barrington, Sir Bear for short. That's his name. And this is Solomon the unicorn. So that's my friends here. Um, I worked in childcare since 1995, like forever. And I always loved, like, I would go in the classrooms and get right down with the kids, build Legos, color, do whatever. When I joined the lifestyle in 2016, the first thing my first dom told me was, "You're a little." And I was like, "What is that? What? Explain further." And so he did. And I was like, there's a name for how I've always felt. And it was crazy. It was a whole world opening because I just always thought I, you know, I was little on the inside. I was a little person, but to know there was a name for it and a community that of other people was beautiful for me. So I have been exploring my little side since I've been here. Um, the benefits I get from it is just happiness and joy. Like when I want to feel, when I want to color, I just do it. When I want to blow bubbles, I just do it. And it used to be I had to hide it from people. Like I remember the first time I was outside with my Lord at the house. And I had my passy connected to my shirt, and then I put my passy in my mouth and real quick took it out. Like, oh my God, people might see me. I don't want to embarrass him. His neighbors are outside, and I don't want to, embarrass him. And he walked over and picked my passy up and put it back in my mouth. And I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. You're okay with me being this way? You're accepting of me being this way, and you don't care that other people can see? And it was just I'm gonna cry. That's crazy. Anyways, that was just really beautiful to me. So right now, the benefits I get from it is when I feel sad or I feel overwhelmed, like Sin said, or something like that, I can just, you know what? I'm not going to pay attention. I'm going to get in some glitter. I'm going to make a mess. I'm going to play with something until I can calm down and focus and be big again.
Awesome, 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 awesome.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Gonna go with Zadis.
Mr. Quiet Pants over there.
So I've had a little side going on 15 years, but I did not know that that's what it was called. But I knew that I was very much like into like watching Disney movies and sleeping with stuffies and just being in a more childlike headspace. As a little, I am an age regressor, which presents itself a little different than like a traditional age player. Um, Little space for me is a time to not be an adult. It's usually comes out when I'm in high stress or high, anxiety moments. I don't usually like go into little space outside of more like private times. But during times that I'm in little space, I love my Disney movies. I love my chicken nuggies. I like, I wear my onesies and my passies and sleeping with my stuffies and all that fun stuff. But unlike some other littles, I'm not really loud and boisterous. I'm not, all up about the glitter and, I'm not super bratty. Like, my little sides looks a little different than what you would traditionally think of when you think of a little. And what little space brings for me is just a sense of calm and a sense of like recentering. It is an escape from things becoming overwhelming. Um, there are times where I like don't really have a choice. I just become little, and it's kind of jarring when that happens. And it's been very nice to have people in my life, multiple people in my life that understand that, accept that, and are there for me when I'm in my little space. Um, yeah. Little being a little is a big part of me. It's something that I've really kind of been solidifying more recently, finding out who I am and being okay with being different, you know, and finding out about myself.
Cool.
Okay, my turn.
Mhm.
So, didn't know I had a little side until April of this year when Sin kind of brought her out.
I tend to
So,
do that.
so that was a little jarring. I was like, "What is this? Where?" I was so freaked out. I was like, I don't know." I'm like, how?" Like, "Oh." I'm like, "Okay, now it makes sense." Because like, when I was younger, I loved Disney movies. I loved to paint. I loved to color. Um, Glitter, not so much. I like ribbon. So, like, the sparkly kind of ribbon, I like that. but I don't know, it was when I was like, "This is" it kind of, wearing a onesie. I'm not thinking I was gonna ever wear a onesie, and I have a passy on the way, so I don't know when it's gonna arrive. But it makes me feel safe. I do also collect unicorns. I mean, I have Anubis here, but I do collect unicorns. I do collect, I have a lot of coloring books and a lot of color pencils. Um, uh, Disney movies. I do like my Disney movies, but I don't really like to, I don't watch too much at home, when I'm uh, at my house. But here I feel safe at home here, and so I can, you know, be okay being little, being safe, because I didn't have really a place to be safe and show that safe side. So
Mhm. That's awesome. That's awesome. So just during all of that, during our introductions and little blurbs, like there was terms that was just sprouted out. We have age regression and ABDL and Mr. Age Player. So, despite what people may believe, like all littles are not the same. All littles are different in how they express themselves, how it comes out, what does it look like for them. And so just to be the educational portion of this, we're going to get into what age play is, what it's not, and we're going to break down some of those terms. So, looking at the dictionary, because I had to look it up because I'm 3 years old. Uh, age play is a form of role play between consenting adults. Consenting adults. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Age play, a form of role play between consenting adults in which the participants play as an age different than their biological age. Typically, this involves one person who is slightly older and one who plays the role of someone that is slightly younger. Now, it could be any age, it can be whatever you consent to. But again, adults at the end of the day. ABDL is, again, that first letter in that acronym, adult. Adult baby diaper lovers. So these are, age players who are littles or middles or bigs, even for that matter, who enjoys the more infantile stages and like, wearing diapers and having bottles and doing all of those other things, but it just goes a little bit deeper and it goes, it can go again, depending on how it looks for you and whomever you are engaging in it with, so long as you're both consenting to whatever is going to happen. Um, Again, that word, that adult word, it is between adults. So if you are of age, then this is the form in which we engage in. And then we have age regression. Now, age regression occurs when someone reverts to a younger state of mind. This retreat can be a few years younger than their physical age. It can go even further than that, to even early childhood age or infancy. So it's different ways and it's different types of littles. It's different types of these things. Like it's not a one size fits all. It's a journey. It is a journey of self discovery, and you may exhibit all aspects. You may exhibit one, two, or you can even be a middle. And basically what a middle is someone who is, a little bit older, I would say roughly between 7 and like teenage years. So they act in that headspace. They don't necessarily care for the childlike stuff like the movies and things like that, but they are also acting in the age in their in a headspace that is not of their biological adult age. Um, then you have bigs. Bigs are usually typically the caregivers. It could be a babysitter. It could be, someone who just enjoys being around littles, but they're not necessarily a little themselves. Like they like to do the, hey, here's your juice box, here's your chicken nuggets, here's your, and they operate in that role. And it falls in line with, mommies and daddies and aunties and uncles. Like again, this whole age play realm can be whatever you make it to be. It doesn't have to be one way. It doesn't have to just be, what is more saturated, which is, DDLG, Daddy Dom Little Girl. Like there's so many different ways that you can engage in this. But again, it depends on how you feel the most comfortable and who you feel the most comfortable expressing this side to. So those are some terms and some terminologies. Again, we're here to help with any questions that you may have, whether it be on this recording or if you send us an email. All of that would be in the link description down below. We're here to help to the best of our knowledge because we're still learning. Like we're not just here because we know everything about this. Trust me, the rabbit hole is deep within this. And then on top of leather and on top of, so it goes really deep. And so we're all learning this as we go as well. So don't feel like there's never a time where you can't ask a question or you feel like your question is insignificant, because everybody's here to learn. It's about, just making you feel the best that you can be and be comfortable in your skin. Be comfortable and own whatever side you fall into in this kink, in this fetish, whatever it is, so long as you have the understanding that you are aware of everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's not all sunshines and rainbows. There's going to be times where you got to figure stuff out, and sometimes it's going to be hard. It's going to be daunting. Speaking from experience, it's hard. It was hard for me to bring this side out to other people because it's so guarded. It's one of my, like, again, this is my core. So for people to see that, like, I have to trust you. Like, I have to like really, really, really know that I am safe in this headspace because it's an emotional thing. I'm going off on a tangent. Does anybody want to chime in? Because I can and say something. Yeah, it's a passion of mine. And again, it's different. Being the ABDL, it's I wouldn't say it's more challenging, but it is more of a it requires a lot more conversation. It requires a lot more, trying to be fair to people's questions, but also, use my integrity to say, well, this, you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to, I'm not asking for that. It's about respect at the end of the day. And when you go into things like, diapers and all of this stuff, people's minds go in the wrong direction. So what this is not some type of sick, weird fetish. This is not some deranged and awful things. This is, again, adults consenting to engaging in this type of play with other adults, whether it be one adult or many adults. You can make it however, so long as you are an adult. It's very, very important. Anybody want to say something else? Anybody wants to chime in with something? We pretty much answered the questions that we have prepared.
I mean, it's important to understand that like little sides can be multiple different facets. Like you were talking about ABDLs and age regression and stuff like that. But there's so much more than that. There's like littles that are also puppies, and there's littles that are like they're not into like the pretty rainbows and unicorns and all that, but they're more of like the quote unquote creepy stuff. Like they're into Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice, and they're into stuff like that. And then there's you know dark age play, which is a whole another controversial topic. And littles, like you said, look very different. Like my little is very different than like Sin's little or Boogie's little. Christine is still, Chris is still figuring out her own, little, and it's important to just kind of be true to yourself, and I know for me personally, accepting my little side was difficult. When I was first like coming to grips with the fact that I had a little side, and sweeping my stuffies and watching being obsessed with Disney, like obsessed with Disney. Um, I got ridiculed for it. I got put down, and so for a while, like I kind of put it away, and I was like, I can't be little. I didn't know it was called being little at the time, but like I needed to get away with that. I need to quote unquote grow up, you know, and it's important just to be true to yourself, and that not everybody is going to understand what's going on. There's still unfortunately this stigma out there that that especially out there to the muggles. The muggles, they always think when they think of littles, they think that, oh, it has something to do with, pedophilia or, something gross or nasty going on. When it's really just a way to cope. It's like therapeutic. It's just, you know, enjoying
Exactly.
your childhood, There's some people like me that like had to grow up too quick and they weren't able to really kind of have an actual childhood, that they had to come to grips with very difficult things, and now that you're an adult, you're able to kind of revisit that and kind of rediscover your childhood. And it's important that you honor that, and I know Sir, likes to say that being a little is one of the most sacred and trusting dynamics that you can have because you're literally at a point where you're just very vulnerable and very much just open. And so it's important to be with the right people when you're in your little side, and to not be ashamed of it, and to find your tribe and your group of people that just are accepting of it. Whether you just find a bunch of bigs, you don't necessarily have to find a bunch of little friends. It's always nice to have little friends, but to just kind of explore at your own pace. I know some of you out there probably are just kind of discovering yourself and you think maybe I am a little, and it's important to just take it at your own pace and to be accepting of it. Um, I know for me personally, having to deal with the stigma of it, I kind of didn't dive into little spaces as much as I should have. Now I'm kind of playing catch up, and I'm glad that I have a group of people that are honorable of it and that they are able to be accepting of it and that, help me bring it out and to be more accepting of it myself. Um, yeah.
I think one other thing that we should touch on is the fact that while some people are sexual during being in little space, a good chunk are not.
Right.
But most of the main things that people hear are the people that are sexual during that little time. And they jokingly call it pedophilia light because that person is in a headspace of being younger. But the majority of people, when they come into this little space, are just acting out those innocent tendencies that they either missed out on childhood or feel safe during. And like I said, there are some people who are, and that's nothing wrong with that if that's your cup of tea. But just like in the lifestyle, there's no cookie cutter way. There's no one true way fits all. Everybody has their own puzzle that they create to form their own life. And everybody needs to find what puzzle pieces make those pictures. And there's nothing wrong with that if you think you might have a little side, trying it out for a little bit and discovering, well, that piece doesn't really fit there. Let me take it out. Figure out what piece does fit there. There's nothing wrong with exploring anything just to know whether or not if it has a place in your life or not. It's one of my things is I'll try almost anything once. because you truly do not know unless you've experienced it if it's right for you, if it has some sort of feeling for you, some sort of benefit. So, but I think that's also, while we're touching on the differences of all of them, that's a good thing to mention, because a lot of people hear about those littles that are sexual and assume that all littles are sexual. And honestly, from my experience, it's more littles are non-sexual than are sexual, but they are still out there. So,
Yeah, sends across the board. You said it, you said it, both of you. I said it. I couldn't put no more words to it. So, and we're going to get into, dark age play. We're going to get into what that is. For someone who is exploring that side and getting and wrapping my head around that. Stay tuned, because we're talking about all the things of the things. We're going to get into that. Yeah. Again, I can't really much add anything else to it. Like, you gotta find, it's a journey and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not gonna figure this out in one day or a month. It's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take work. It's gonna take work on your part. It's gonna take work on the people who you find solitude in, people who you can trust. It's gonna take time, but it's not a sprint. So go at your own pace, go at your own journey, and yeah, you'll find where you are. You'll find your puzzle piece and your picture, and like, you can say, I'm happy for that. Yeah, it's about to say.
Yeah, I'm putting my hand back down. The only thing I wanted to add, Zeta's kind of touched on it, is it's important to find alignment. So the person or people you're little around, and it's important to be aligned with those people. Um, for example, my Lord does not like to be called daddy. It works out because I don't like to call anybody daddy. I don't want to do it. So that works perfectly for us. He doesn't want that. I don't want to do it. Wonderful. Thumbs up. But it's important that everybody you're around, because he tells me all the time that a lot of dominates are scared of littles because we're terrifying. We're so scary. I don't understand that, but I've
Right.
seen it. I've seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, I don't deal with littles. I can't do it. I won't do it." And that's fine, but it's important to find people who you can be yourself around, because if you end up in a dynamic with somebody who doesn't do littles, for example, you can't be yourself now. You can't express yourself, you can't be who you are, and eventually that will not work. So it's important to find people who you feel safe around, who you feel like you can be yourself around and are accepting, and match.
Yeah. Use words. And words can be hard, especially if, for us littles, trying to find the words is not going to always be easy. But, if you can't say the words, draw a picture. Have some form of communication to where, okay, this is how I want to feel, and this is how
or
I
make
want to
your
be.
stuffy say it.
Right. They're very good at
Hi,
listening,
everybody.
and some and some are good at talking for you. Um, yeah. What else do we have to talk about today? Ah,
Well, I do want to say that anybody who is watching, they can feel free to reach out to, I know I can speak for myself, to me on Facebook. My messenger is always open. I might not be free at every given moment, but I will answer accordingly to time. Any questions, you can reach out to the Facebook page for the Littles Roundtable. You can reach out to the email for the Littles Roundtable. I don't know if anybody else wants to open up their messenger. That is up to y'all. Um, but it's just primarily finding your peace, finding what fills your cup, and finding what fills your puzzle pieces. So.
Mm-hmm. And also you can, reach out to me. I'm everywhere. So anywhere there's a social media platform, you can just see this face and message me. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And if I don't know the answers, I'll find the answers, or I'll find the people who can answer the questions a little bit more better than I can. But feel free to reach out. There's, like I said, there's
Littles,
no
we need help
questions.
sometimes.
Right. We need help sometimes
reaching the
too.
top shelf.
Yeah. It's too high. I
I
need
know.
help.
We stand on each other's shoulders and we get those cookies that mommy hid.
Right. We
Little
do.
in real life, so yeah.
Right.
We do the things. So I'm gonna have this question not only to the panel, but to you all watching at home. So a little bit of homework. What advice would you give to anyone or anyone who is discovering their little side, who may have, starting their journey? I'm gonna go first. Okay, I'll go first. I'm
That's
always
the hostess job.
I'm only 3. Why I have to go first?
Because big you volunteered little you.
Dinosaur, you want to answer this question? Okay. In advice that I would give, again, do your research, do as much research as you can. Figure out what works for you, figure out your yeses, figure out your boundaries, figure out all of that stuff. Or just have a good viewpoint on what those are before trying to jump into a dynamic or relationship with someone, because you don't want a microwave dynamic. Those things never work. It's like because people can tell you whatever they want to tell you in order to get what they want, and then they could just leave you high and dry. So do research, reach out. FetLife is a resource. There's Facebook groups, there's Telegram groups, there's all sorts of groups out here specifically within age play, and whatever subcategory of age play you find you are most comfortable with. There's a group out there, there's people who are willing to help in all over. If you have a local community, wherever you may be, attend their socials. Here in New York City, we have a social where we do something every first Tuesday. It's called a diaper happy hour. And, we conversate and we commune and we have fun with it and do other things. And then we also have something towards the end of the month. So you can make those steps to find your community. And then when you have a good sense of, who you are and have a good social network, then, if you still wanted that dynamic, if you still want that, those type of interactions, do you just follow the recipe? Follow the recipe and don't try to put it in the microwave, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let it bake. Let it take time to get to know the person. Let the person get to know you. And when you feel comfortable, introduce your little side and say, hey, is this going to be an issue? Is this going to be a problem for you? Is there anything that you feel you can't, operate when I'm in this headspace? Ask those tough questions. And if you feel you got to ask 1,000 questions until you feel safe, ask those 1,000 questions. It goes right back into any other, dynamic situation or negotiation process. Ask questions. And if you're unsure, ask questions to back up that, so that you have a good mindset. And anything that is not okay with you or is not sitting right with you, take a step back and reevaluate. Okay, what has this person said? How do I feel about it? Am I agreeing to go through with this and go through all of those things? Yeah, just find your people, take your time, don't rush it. Be you in any situation, be you, because you can only be you. And that's it. So that would be my advice. Go ahead, Batsai. Your
Go
kink.
next.
Mine is you don't have to have everything figured out the first day. A lot of people who I talk to are like, I always ask, how old are you? Because I'm 4. So I asked, and some people are like, I don't know. I'm scared. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to day one know exactly what you like and what you are going to do and everything. You can take your time and figure it out. For the first year, at least, I wasn't an age. I was just little. Just this is what I am. I figured out later I'm like 4-ish. So I'm on the bigger side, but still tiny. So you don't have to know immediately. You don't have to know first day. You can, somebody said, try things and nope, that doesn't work. Put it over there. I don't like bottles. It took me a while to figure out didn't like bottles. I tried several different types of bottles. No, the answer is no. So you can try things, figure it out. You have time. It's a race, not a sprint, as people always say. So you have time. Have fun. Figure it out.
Awesome.
I think mine would be just explore and enjoy the time. Like, invest in your kink. Ma'am says that a lot, and that also includes little. Like, if it's something that you don't know, you don't have to go to top of the line of everything first off. You can buy a bottle from the Dollar Tree just to try it out. And then if it is something that you do enjoy or you do get some sort of enjoyment out of it, spend a little bit more to get something a little bit nicer. You know, start off with stuffies from Five Below. $5 stuffies. There's nothing wrong with them. All stuffies need loving too. Or, go on a nice Goodwill hunt and find a couple and rescue them and bring them home. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't all necessarily have to be money based. It's about getting the things and giving it a try. Because if you spend $5 on a stuffy and $1.25 on a bottle from the Dollar Tree, you're not really out a lot of money if it really doesn't turn out to be your thing. It's not being afraid to take that step and just exploring and let yourself find your path and find your journey and where it's going to lead you, and keep putting those feet in front of each other, and don't be afraid. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Even if you don't have a caregiver or a group of littles or middle friends, like, try it out for yourself first and see if it fulfills something within you. And then reach out to the community. And once you've explored a little bit and found out that that does seem to be a good step for you and something that you enjoy and get something out of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my advice would probably be to just find it out your own way. Like we've talked about, littles look different. Like, don't try to fit a mold, just be yourself. You might not be super loud little, you might not be like bratty, you may not like, all the other stuff that littles are into. You might just be super quiet and want to just color in a corner and, you know, watch your Disney movies and just kind of relax. Or you might be super excited. You might wanna go run around you go down the slide at the park and go on the swings and wee out and, you
On the
know,
merry-go-round.
on the merry-go-round and just, it just let it manifest itself, just the way it needs to. There is no set way that a little has to look. Some littles like onesies, some littles don't. Some like just, like wearing t-shirts and shorts and stuff, and You know, you don't have to wear diapers or, maybe you do. You don't have to like stuffies, maybe you do. It's just figuring out which fits you best, if anything fits you at all, you know, and not trying to compare yourself to others, just whatever you're comfortable with, whatever fulfills you, whatever, brings you happiness. Um, just go with that, you know, be your own little, and everything else just fall into place.
Do it for yourself, not for anybody else.
That part.
That's very true. I know for me, taking the time, I've only just started down this road of being
Mhm.
little. I don't know my age. So so it's okay to not know your age. It's okay not to know what you like if you like stuffies, which I do. Or like the color. I like the color, but you don't have to. You don't have to like glitter. You don't have to like streamers. You don't have to um you know, do all the things, just try it out, you know, uh, get things and, just explore. That's all.
Mhm. Well, I thank you all for coming on and sharing your viewpoints, sharing your aspects on what age play and what being a little is to you. I want to thank the people who are watching this, who are going to be watching this. Again, hopefully you have questions and hopefully this sparks a conversation within yourself and with the other people who you feel, safe to have those conversations with. We'll be back next month with another Littles Roundtable. Um,
Lucky sponsors.
I right. Yeah, see, my brain's just
Sponsors.
so we want to thank some people who are willing to give us a, you know, just that extra oomph of support. We're wearing most of, the products here. So I want to give a shout out to Pretty in Color ABDL shop. They are awesome, awesome vendor company who makes all types of onesies and dresses and pajamas, all of those fun stuff that just enhances who you are as a little. Shout out to you, like you, Miss Mommy Bell, are amazing. She's amazing at what she does. Also want to give a shout out to LittleKinkBoutique for their support and their just like stamp of approval, because these are topics that needs to be talked about. And so for actual companies to just say, hey, we supported what you're doing, we support this, we on board 100%. It's great. So thank you to LKB for just being another just awesome company, but an amazing addition to what we have coming in the future. um shout out to the village. And shout out to our D types that who run the village. Y'all are amazing in everything that y'all do, and helping us on our leather journeys and helping us through life and helping us with those types of stuff. Like, we thank you, we appreciate you, and like we thank you for the the trust that you've given us to even start this. It's because we've been watching your shows and we've been watching your podcast that we was like, we want to do a show too. And so it all, again, it's about helping as a tribe, as a community, and everybody who is a part of our village is special and amazing and brings things to the table, from all points of views, all different sides of the slash, you name it, we have it. And couldn't thank y'all enough for what y'all do.
I do want to mention next month it will not be until the last week of the month. July is very, very busy for House of Kinky Misfits.
It's for the village. It's
As
a
the
very busy
village.
month.
Well, we have the one thing the second weekend, and then me and
Yeah.
Ben have to go to Cleveland for the
Yeah.
third weekend. So it's a very busy month for the village. So it will not be until the last week in July. After that, we will figure out a set weekend that works within the month. But until after July, it's a little crazy. So
Right. So, you know, it's busy. It's
you
busy.
guys
It's
got
busy.
plenty of time to come up with questions to ask us.
Right. And again, all of that will be in the link description down below where you can email us. We're going to have permission slips if you want to be a guest on the show and you want to share your perspectives, because at some point we will be live. Just not next month because we're busy. We can't do it next month, but you know, stick around. We'll have an episode next month sometime. Like I said, like the head little said, later on next month. Yeah, that's been the Littles Roundtable episode 1. Once again, thank you, and we will see you next month.
We did it.
Bring your stuffies.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.